buy these powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards before they skyrocket in price.
3, 2, 1.
Mom! Kelly's making cards skyrocket in price again!
What's going on with y'all big thing. What's that, Sonny? Imperial Iron Wall? I'll tell you a little bit about that card. If you have Quillbolt Hedgehog in your graveyard, you can summon it to your side of the field. And if Imperial Iron Wall is on the field, when you try to send Quillbolt Hedgehog to the graveyard, it goes back to the graveyard instead. That's what we like to call an infinite loop back in my day. You can also do the same for Plague Spreader Zombie, but it's not as cool. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah! Gladiator Beast is an amazing deck under Imperial Iron Wall. Imperial Iron Wall's intentions are very direct. When you're going against decks like Malice, no malicing for you. In fact, this card is probably a game ender if you go against the strategy and they have nothing to get rid of it, which typically they don't. I do think it is a little bit risky for Imperial Iron Wall, considering that it is an ultra rare, but it's only an ultra rare. And while Konami hasn't announced Rarity Collection 5, we know it's on the way. So it is a chance that it could get in there, but statistically it's being played right now, so consider picking those up. Now, Alliance Insight has some hidden gems to me. Some cards that are almost insane until you start reading the effect. One of them is Psalms of the King, or better known as Songs of the Dominators. I like Psalms of the Kings way better. Psalms of the Kings, or Songs of the Dominators, I apologize, can be activated from the hand if you have no monsters in the graveyard. And if your opponent uses a monster effect on the field, you can negate that activation. But the best part about Songs of the Dominus is that after it negates the activation of a card, it allows you to add a Dominus card from your deck to your hand. So if you're playing Dominus Purge or Dominus Impulse, those are searchable cards now. It's not a really big drawback from activating Songs of the Dominus from the hand either. It's just, you can't activate monster effects from the graveyard or hand. That's all. It's nothing huge. Nothing huge. I think Songs of the Dominators is 100% for particular Yu-Gi-Oh strategies. Decks that rely on activating monster effects from the field, or strategies that can search Songs of the Dominators. I don't know any maze-like Yu-Gi-Oh decks of any kind that does that. But the big thing that I want to point out is that this card is just like Dominus Impulse and Dominus Purge. It's a card that players do not look at simply because it doesn't fit the Yu-Gi-Oh meta right now. We pick those up 10 times out of 10. This is almost the exact same time I told you guys to pick up Dominus Purges when they were $10, because eventually some Yu-Gi-Oh strategy will find a way to use it. And while it may not be good in the current Yu-Gi-Oh decks that are being played right now, this is definitely one of those cards that you should have for the future. I think it can be incredible, and mainly because I like the word Psalms. Don't judge me. Moving back to the statistical side, a card that has been really, really good and underrated is a card that I told you guys previously to buy. In fact, I think I told you guys a couple of times now. Let me remind you again. I think you guys should be picking up Cellsban. Now, Cellsban's effect is incredibly simple. It says you declare one card name. Your opponent can't use that declared name for the turn, but you can't use that declared name for the rest of the duel. You think that that's a really big drawback, but when you consider if you're using it for an effect of a card that you don't use, it doesn't matter. Let me give you a perfect example, man. The card while it's being played, and seeing that the card is limited, all I had to do was get rid of it, and he was never summoning it again. Cellsban is one of those unique cards where it seems good and bad in theory, but then you actually get it to practice against certain cards, and it's amazing. It can be used offensively, declaring cards like Droll and Lockbird or Nibiru Primal Bing to make sure you are able to combo off. But it also can be used defensively to eliminate threats on your opponent's side of the field, or cards that you know your opponent is going to use against you. Now, it is a card from my favorite set, Battle of Chaos. You see it right here, which means that it is only as a secret rare or a super rare from the 25th anniversary 10. Definitely consider picking up your Cellsbans, big dog. The next thing that you guys should do is buy the TheCaliEffect sleeves and merch. Boy, I ain't playing with you. We actually selling out, so maybe don't buy them too fast. But the last cards that I think you guys should buy, and it's mainly because Yu-Gi-Oh players are just like meta sheep. They only follow what's the here and right now. They never tend to look ahead. When I tell you guys that the Regenesis cards are insane, yo, they are actually insane. Regenesis Archfiend does have the drawback of needing a 25/25 monster to special summon itself, but the benefits are so ridiculous. It gets you into the whole Regenesis engine. And if you guys don't know about the Regenesis cards, they are ridiculous. Bouncing monsters, banishing spell and trap cards, negating the activations of card effects, and playing around some of the most iconic cards in the game, like Dark Magician and
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I'm not saying you can build that deck, but they are 7s and 8s. Regenesis Archfiend and the spell card Regenesis are my last two cards that I think you guys should pick up, mainly because the Regenesis engine is crazy strong. It reminds me of the Horus engine, except it doesn't have the hype. It's the Fiendsmith engine in terms of power to me right now. It does require a lot of space, but there are a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh strategies that can accommodate for this. Perhaps even Red Dragon Archfiend. I am cooking that. While Yu-Gi-Oh players and myself still try to figure out the best version of Regenesis, you should 100% pick these cards up. But that concludes us for the video of cards that you should be buying before they skyrocket in price. Be sure to check out these videos so I can catch you on the next one, big dog.